I'm giving a talk that I've probably given 20 times. I changed a few words and a few pictures and that type of thing, but it makes it a lot easier for me to do it the same thing over and over. And see if I can figure out how to do this thing here. Yeah, did it. Anyways, I'm going to talk about saving money, saving the environment, and using mine water for geothermal. There are many people that are looking for alternative sources of energy to save money while maintaining their comfortable homes. A lot of people are also looking to talk about decarbonization. I don't know if we're talking about that so much any longer, but we used to be talking about that. A promising source of that is right below our feet, geothermal. Geothermal heating and cooling with heat pumps. It's a proven, well-established systems. They provide extremely efficient levels of indoor heating, cooling, hot water, and as you see, they're even using them for dryers now. They're very economical and with a small carbon footprint. There's some drawbacks, and I'll talk about those also. Anyways, I looked at it's a little bit questionable when you talk about somebody that's sponsoring something that tells you how good something is. But anyways, this is a blurb by, there's an online source by Water Furnace. So it's a geothermal heat pump company. And I just took a random zip code in the Smoking Creek area. This is Marion Heights, a 2,000 square foot home, and this shows you what kind of operating costs and what savings they say for that will happen with using geothermal. Another thing that I've just found recently that I thought was real interesting is that they're talking that people using geothermal will also help it to strengthen the grid because of the time of day use that you can do with geothermal. This is talking about some analysis from Oak Ridge where they did these doing a modeling to say what you could save as far as the amount of electricity that would be need to be generated. So it can really help the entire country to look at these type of things. Just on a purpose of taking a look at somebody's house again, another 2,000 square foot house. That, by the way, I've gotten away from my 2,000 square foot house a long time ago. I keep moving to smaller and smaller house, and you get rid of your junk that way. But anyways, with geothermal, your savings is quite a lot, up to 62% using a geothermal. This is comparing it to gas with high efficiency air conditioning. And also, there's a big savings, again, with carbon footprint, and it doesn't seem to be quite as important as it used to be. But geothermal saves money in the long term. Geothermal systems have extremely low operating costs. EPA says that there's savings of 30 to 70% on heating and 20 to 50% on cooling. Geothermal systems have longer lifespan, less maintenance. They last about twice as long as a conventional heating and cooling systems. Geothermals are renewable, they're environmentally friendly. Geosystems use less energy than other systems. Geothermal systems produce 75 to 85% less CO2 than gas or oil. They're comfortable, healthy, quiet, and safe. There's no dust less dust in your house. They produce no carbon monoxide, no nitrates. There's no soot, no dust, and they can get actually get you off the grid if you have some renewable energy source at your house. Also, there's the state offers some incentives also. This is new, but I'm not sure how long it's going to last. But for right now, up to $8,000, depending on your income, you can get up to $8,000 back for using a heat pump for space heating and cooling. There's some chances for some grants, especially for businesses. One of the programs that's open right now with the state is called RISE PA. It's open until August for small businesses. Also, most of the electric companies have some sort of a program also for rebates, or I think PPL gives me 50 cents or something like that. This one here, I'm not real sure about any longer. There's again, but there are federal tax benefits at the present time. Also, we're looking at the potential of the state looking into this. The Joint State Government Commission is doing a study. This was a resolution that was passed in 2023 to do a study of the geothermal energy projects in communities near abandoned mines. Joe Webster was a sponsor. There's a person here in our audience today that's working on that. So when you find him, talk it up. I can identify him if you want. He's sitting back there with a beard and mustache. Also, there's another study that's recently happened talking about what can happen with grid costs and total emissions, and this is a really good paper that the Department of Energy has out. I don't get paid by these people, by the way. I would be glad to. There's two types of geothermal heating and cooling systems. One is water source and one is ground source. And water source heat pumps are less expensive to install than ground source. They don't require as much digging, trenching needed for ground loops. Ground temperatures are a little bit higher than water temperatures underground because you usually don't do enough burial when they put these systems in. However, water source needs to have a well, a pond, an aquifer, a river, body of water, or a mine pool. Closed loop systems can require additional systems. That's usually a ground source is usually a closed loop system. Also, they may need cooling tower to get rid of all of the heat. An open loop system where you pump and dump, it's the least expensive to install, and it's also the least, that's hard to say, least expensive to use. They have, however, there are some controls and permitting that are required when you try to dump into a well, a pond, or an aquifer, river, body of water. But right now, there are no regulations that you can't take the water out of the mine and put it back in. I hate to say this because the state guys are sitting over there, and they'll say, hey, we got to make some money on this. Put a new permit in. Also, open loop systems are up to 48% more efficient. This is another heat pump company, but they're just comparing the difference between open loop. They sell both, so I can believe this one. There are a lot of ground geothermal systems that are being installed. Notre Dame University is putting in total campus is going to be geothermal. I think they're on their third stage of their project right now. Right now, there are 3,600 boreholes each 300 to 400 feet deep, and they're heating and cooling 47 buildings. That's 2,700 feet of drilling per building. I think, I can't do the arithmetic, but I think it's about $50 a foot. So it's pretty damned expensive. Marywood uses mine water. They have 2 boreholes. They're only doing 1 building, but that's 800 feet per building. Just 3% of what Notre Dame's cost was. Geothermal systems can save you up to 70, like I said, 70% on heating, cooling, and hot water costs. They use about 8% less energy than fossil fuels. Use 4 times less electricity on even the coldest days than air source heat pumps. They can do limited peak demand on a utility system and produce 85 fewer emissions in a gas furnace. We're lucky to live in the coal regions for a change. We can save money in the environment by using mine water geothermal. It isn't really rocket science. You got a mine filled with water. Find a mine map and find out where to drill at. Drill 2 holes. Buy a commercial heat pump. A heat exchanger. These heat exchangers are pretty inexpensive for small building. You can buy them on Amazon. Some plastic pipe. The reason you use plastic pipe is so that they don't corrode. And you got yourself a mine water geothermal plant. A lot of the early work on mine water geo-exchange was here in northeastern Pennsylvania. There's been mine water heating and cooling going on for more than 40 years here. In the 1970s, the Department of Energy were doing some grants in 1977, 1978, 1979, 1980. They did quite a few projects here in northeastern Pennsylvania. Most of those beneficiaries were in the Wyoming Valley, which had the mine water was pretty close to the surface at the time because all of the underground mines had been abandoned. The first of those projects was at a Radio Shack at the Midway Shopping Center. It was in Popular Science. I actually have a copy of this magazine. I don't know how the heck I kept it. But the front page of the cover was about a new source of energy called solar energy. And it was how you could put a solar panel on your house and however, that one did a lot better than mine water did. One of the things that the magazine was talked about was that we could use mine water to make what was used to be a disaster into a bonanza for northeastern Pennsylvania. The most notorious of the mine water geo-exchange systems was at the Kingston Recreation Center, which was right across the river from Wilkes-Barre. They put in 2 drill holes and ran for 40 years with a heat pump. I think that they had 2 times that they had to do repairs on the system over 40 years. One of the things was a collapsed borehole. After 40 years, they decided that they needed to replace it. They went to Penn State and said, "What should we do? Should we redo geothermal, or should we do something different? They said, put a gas furnace in. So they did. The only one that's operating today that I'm aware of, I'm sure that there's some people that have put them in themselves, because over the period of time, there were lots of small businesses and even some private individuals that put in geothermal systems that lived over mine pools. But there's at Marywood College University. They've been running for 15 years now, just using a cooling system at their architectural building. They have chillers, and been operating very well. We're going to talk a little bit about where we could put a mine water geothermal project. We're going to talk a little bit southeastern Pennsylvania, northeastern, southwestern Pennsylvania, two places. There are other places across the state that there are also. But the Pittsburgh seam has a lot of flooded water. You're going to hear a little bit about that later on today. And the anthracite mines have a lot of water, and you're going to hear about that also today. These are all places that you could put in mine water geothermal across the country. A hell of a lot of places. Some of those, there's not been a lot of study going on as to where those things are. The first real study that was done was by Simon Ash. I knew Simon Ash. I knew his son better. His son was one of my professors in school. But there's a series of, I'm going to guess, 25 books about mine water in Pennsylvania, in the anthracite that S.H. Ash was one of the authors of. And it's pretty good information. However, it is information that from 1949. There's been more mines that have closed since then. So it is a minimal amount of water that's underground. USGS also did some work. They put in a series of projects by W.T. Stewart. I'm not familiar with who he is, but I'm sure there's some guys here in the audience that are. And he put together a series of maps. It's hard to find, but I can show you where they are if you're interested. They basically show the outline of all those projects from the 1960s. And then AppCamera's done some work, and you'll be hearing more from that today, but they've done mine pool mapping in all of the anthracite fields. There's a lot more work that has to be done. There's a lot more, and I think Tom Clark's going to be talking about more of the work that has to be done. Some of my colleagues in England, where they're doing an awful lot of work, they've been doing a lot of work with mine water. I'll be talking a little bit about that in a little bit. But they actually have all of their mines pools mapped already, but they're even putting an extra amount of study into the thing. They're putting in boreholes into all of mine pools. They've gotten funding from the government to put in boreholes into all of the mine fields that they have to find out the quality and all the other information about what the water is. We could do some things like that with all that big money that you guys got at Bammer. This is a mine pool map that AppCamera's come up with of the Shamokin Creek area. And then Shamokin Creek's gone ahead and done some additional work where they had a fellow from here at Bucknell do some work for them. And this is a map one of the maps of a series of maps that they've come up with. And that came to closer and closer. Right there in the middle, there's that Marion Heights that was talking about saving all that money up. But these are showing the boreholes, the surface and the mine water level. And you can see that there's not very far down, so that you don't have to put a very deep mine pump in most of these places. I'm sure a lot of people would like to have a well water that was that shallow. I mentioned about the UK. The UK has put in several real large-scale projects. Their first one is at a place called Gateshead. It's a historic mining area close to the ocean. They put in a mine water heat system for the community centers, where they did the library, the city hall, about 5 buildings first. And then they expanded it to several places throughout the community. And now they're putting in about 1,200 homes that it's going to be sharing the system. And they have a large system that are all connected right now. This is a schematic of what they're doing. This is the total that this community is using. They're using 2 heat pumps. They're 4,000 horsepower heat pumps. They extract mine water from 59 degrees. They heat it to 80 degrees. They're adding 4 additional council buildings, a care home, and up to 1,200 homes. And that was put in, the work began in March 2025 at this next one. And this one is going to be using a mine water from a water treatment plant where they're pumping water to the surface, taking a big part of the cost that they had at the other place, because they're already pumping the mine water to the surface. Going through the same process, a heat exchanger, going to an energy center to where the heat pumps are, and connecting the homes. They're going to be doing 750 homes. And a third one that they're doing in Wales that I don't have any pictures of, because I just saw it this week. It's one of the problems with doing my paper a month ago. I don't have the new stuff. But anyway, some things are really happening there. It's a shame that we aren't doing it here. I've been talking about it for a long time, and I'm really, really hoping that I do see something in the next, I guess, how many more years I got? But the UK people say we see great potential in our 80-plus mine water treatment facilities across the UK to protect water supplies and to generate renewable heat. And I think we can do this with our AMD treatment plants and help pay for those treatment plants to continue operating. We're doing a lot of work about geothermal heating and cooling in the United States. And the U.S., the Department of Energy has put out a record of I think 20 of those. These are some of the case studies that they have in their program. This is at Seattle Public Schools. They have witnessed 77% lower energy use. Each school uses 90 to 100 250-foot boreholes. This is in Bismarck, North Dakota. They've been running this plant for this building for 20 years on geothermal. One of the neat things they do here, I think, is that their parking lot and their driveways and everything is also connected to the heat pumps also. and so they don't have to plow snow. They use 71,000 kilowatt hours per year. They put in 286 boreholes. And this is a apartment complex up in Lockport, New York. My parents used to live there. This district heating system uses 142 250-foot boreholes. And that's just to talk about what the kind of savings they could have had if they would have been over a mine pool. And this, in Wisconsin, this is a district heating system also with 6,100 boreholes. They put in a good number of boreholes for every home that they put in. Talking about district heating, at one time, most of the northeastern part of the United States was on district heating, called steam heat. There are still about 40 steam heat systems running in the United States. But this is the steam heat system in Wilkes-Barre. Almost all of the underground facilities that's shown on the map, the crazy dotted lines there, are still existing. They're still there. They're owned privately. He's been trying to get the city involved, interested in putting in a mine water heating system. Really no response. The other thing that's really hot right now is data centers. I saw this in the Times Leader when I was putting this paper together. This northeastern Pennsylvania is a hot spot for data centers. And I think that I saw that there was something like, it just says there's 25 new projects. I just read this week that there was 40 projects here in northeastern Pennsylvania that they're talking about for data centers. Data centers are really water intensive. They use cooling systems that consume millions of gallons of potable water annually. A single data center can consume up to 5 million gallons of drinking water a day. And a lot of these are in places like Southern California and Arizona, where there's not much water. But even here, if we were talking about using potable water, I'm sure that you wouldn't be able to put many plants in the Hazleton area because they're always running out of water in Hazleton. Even though there's discharging 100 million gallons a day from the Geothermal, which is 600 feet below the town. In 2022, Google used 5.6 billion gallons. Meta used 1.29 billion gallons in 2022. Some of the other uses would be greenhouses, and you're going to hear about that next, I think. This one here is a marijuana greenhouse. I think that would be a real good place to use it. And like I mentioned before, taking the snow off of my driveway. I want to thank Steve. I want to thank you, Steve. I thank the SCRA and Bucknell for today's. If anybody has any interest, please call or email me. I'll send you more information than you ever wanted to have.